If there is anything that needs to be satirized and remixed, it is Trump talking about massive dumps. And by the way, extra points, if you can sample Trump saying massive dumps and me talking about it in a song, please do it.
Dumps. Big massive dumps. Dumps. Big massive dumps. Dumps.
Dumps. Dumps. Dump, dump, dumps. Dumps. Dump.
Dumps. Dumps.
Dumps. Dumps. Dump, dump, dumps. Dumps. Dumps.
Dump. Big massive dumps. Dumps.
Dumps. Dumps.
Sure you just
Dump, dump,
won.
dumps. Dumps. Dumps.
Dump. Big massive dumps.
Donald Trump insisted multiple times that it was massive dumps that led him to lose the election, which is just
on another level, on another level.
Dumps.
Dumps. Dumps.
Sure you just
Dump,
won.
dump, dumps. Dumps. Dumps.
Dump. Big massive dumps. Dumps.
Dumps. Dumps.
Sure you just
Dump,
won.
dump, dumps. Dumps. Dumps.
Dump. Big massive dump.
You turn the faucet on in areas where there's tremendous amounts of water, where the water rushes out to sea, because you could have people are flushing toilets 10 times, 15 times, as opposed to once. Quietly tripping.
Dumps.
Dumps. Dumps.
Sure you just
Dump,
won.
dump, dumps. Dumps. Dumps.
Dump. Big massive dumps. Dumps.
Dumps. Dumps. Dump, dump, dumps. Dumps. Dumps.
Dumps.
what is going on here? What is going on here? It's just beyond parody. I mean, massive dumps cost him the election. What is going on here? What is going on here? It's just beyond parody. I mean, massive dumps cost him the election. What is going on here?
Dumps. Dumps. Dumps.
Dumps.
Dumps that
Dumps.
Dumps. Dumps.
Toilets 10 times.
Dump, dump, dumps. Dumps. Dumps.
Dumps. Dumps.
Dumps. Dumps.
multiple times.
Dump, dump, dumps. Dumps. Dumps.
Dumps. Dumps.
Dumps.
Thank your lucky stars every day you're not Dave Pagnon. Look at those eyes, man. That dude is gone. That is a freaking predator right there. Who thinks he's smarter than you, thinks he's better than you, and he's gonna beat you, he thinks. Oh, Joe Rogan. Look at those eyes, man. That dude is gone, ladies and gentlemen.
Alex Jones is now very, very upset with me.
Look at that. That is a freaking predator right there. Who thinks he's smarter than you, thinks he's better than you, and he's gonna beat you. Pac-Man never talked to the New World Order, because Pac-Man's a loser. Pac-Man's a loser. He's not a knight at the round table.
That's true. I'm not a knight at the round. That actually is accurate.
That dude is gone, ladies and gentlemen. Pac-Man. If I was telling my children who not to be, it's Pac-Man. Man's a loser. Smarter than you, thinks he's better than you, and he's gonna beat you. The evil's growing, it's coming. What you asked for is now at the door, scratching. So open the door and prepare to meet your destiny. Pac-Man's a loser. Man's a loser. That is a freaking predator right there. Who thinks he's smarter than you, thinks he's better than you, and he's gonna beat you.
Trump was doing this with his personal toilet.
But sinks, toilets, and showers.
Elements of bathrooms 10 times, 15 times. Elements of bathrooms. We're looking very strongly at sinks and showers. Elements of bathrooms 10 times, 15 times. Elements of bathrooms.
What on earth is going on with Trump and toilets? Trump's White House toilet would be clogged.
All right. I love the image of clog shoes there. That's extra special. I really do like that. Welcome, everybody. This is the last stream of febrile February. Tomorrow being March, I will have to come up with some new adjective to describe Trump's screeds, I guess. We've got a this is I don't want to interrupt here and call out a user named WTF 2020, but I have to tell you, because I'm no longer addressing idiocy on the show in a serious manner, I want to give you guys an example of the stuff where people think they're being clever, but they just don't even really understand what I do. This user WTF 2020 on Twitch, where, by the way, we have a hype train going on Twitch. We have 15 seconds to make it to level 3. I don't know if we're going to make it. We have 8 seconds. Oh, God. Oh, my God, we didn't make it. Okay, well, that's too bad. Anyway, this user WTF 2020, they think they're clever. They posted, I'm old enough to remember when David Pakman said Kyiv would be captured within hours on Friday. Do people not understand that I am reporting what journalists and elected officials say? Okay? This is like the Fox News audience who watches and they go, I don't know, Tucker reported that critical race theory is bad. No. Tucker gave an opinion, and when we talked on Friday, the word was intelligence officials believe Kyiv could be taken within hours. I'm reporting to you guys and sourcing things. It's just so weird when people come in here. David, you were wrong because you... No, guys, those aren't my opinions. It's sort of like when people call in and they go, David, does ivermectin work for COVID? And I go, well, I don't have an opinion of it myself. The evidence so far in actual double-blind, randomly controlled trials doesn't show that ivermectin works for COVID. And then later people, David, you were wrong about ivermectin. No. Was I wrong that at the time? So I have very little patience for these people who just they don't know what's going on. It's like they live in a daze. How would I independently, I'm not a military analyst. This is not the type of show where I go, guys, my opinion is Kyiv will fall within hours. No, wait, I'm not in a position to have an opinion about that. What I can tell you is what are government officials and others saying. What's great is that the Kyiv Ukrainian resistance has done better than expected in repelling the Russian invasion. And we're going to talk about that. Okay. You guys get it. I mean, again, it's like, all right, let's go next to the big news of the day. There is now a concern that Vladimir Putin might be willing to use nuclear weapons. Now, for everybody who's going to show up in a week and go, David, on the last day of February, you said Putin would nuke Ukraine. No. What I'm reporting to you is Putin is now alluding to using nukes. The way he's alluding to it is by saying we are going to put our nuclear forces at a higher level of readiness. And Putin is claiming to justify that by saying, well, we've got to respond to the hostility of the sanctions. The sanctions, of course, that he caused by invading Ukraine. So that is obviously of major concern. There's kind of two big sides on this. There's some people who say this is just posturing from Putin. There is no way in hell that Putin would ever use nukes. And by the way, who would he use them on? He wants Ukraine, but he's going to nuke Ukraine and then take it over. That's crazy. He wouldn't destroy the thing he's trying to steal. There are other people who are saying, oh, no, Putin's unhinged right now, whether it's because he's lost his marbles, whether it's because he's terminally ill, whatever speculation, there's a contingent that says Putin will do anything at this point in time. There's nothing, including nukes, that Putin will not use. And then there's everything in between. Now, Joe Biden, let me see if I can get, am trying to do the best possible stream for you that I can. Okay, President Joe Biden was asked whether Americans should be worried about nuclear war, and Biden said no.
Mr. President, should Americans be worried about nuclear war?
No.
Okay, so very simple, just a no. Again, these are not my opinions. I hope people understand what they're watching here, okay? So far, Joe Biden has been pretty accurate in terms of what to expect. At one point, he said, this is what Russia's doing, and they're starting to signal they might invade. Then at another point, he said, our intelligence is Putin has decided to invade. Then Putin invaded. Okay, so far, that's what we've heard from Biden, and he has mostly been correct. All right, I want to make sure, because it's such a special day in that it's the last day of the month, I want to make sure everybody who deserves it is being thanked, but that no one who doesn't deserve it is being thanked. I want to say thanks to Grim Reaper, Jay Tandaway, Small Fuzzy Moss, Jen here, Agent 71, Kind AF, Christina FTW, another one from Jen here, Omi Bedomi, Exy and Dexy. Wow, Exy and Dexy. You typically only see one of them. Putting us at 11 already from the standpoint of Twitch Prime. And I would love it for you guys to sign up on my website with the coupon code Please Don't War. Also available is the coupon code Obamna.
Obamna.
If you want it. Oh, also thanks to Arundel for the Twitch Prime subscription. We have so many different things to look at. I don't even know where to start. There is a live United Nations Security Council discussion of the Russian attack on Ukraine. Let's listen to the Russian dude.
As regards the draft proposed by France and Mexico on humanitarian situation in Ukraine, we need to study the text very carefully before issuing any assessment thereof. In any event, please know that the Russian military will provide any needed humanitarian assistance to the Ukrainians in the territories that have been freed from the radicals. I now resume my function as President of the Council and give the floor to the representative of Ukraine.
Wow. This is the guy who earlier said Putin should kill himself. We'll get to that.
So, Mr. Undersecretary General, High Commissioner. First of all, I would like to thank the Security Council for addressing this urgent issue. Every new day of the Russian unprovoked war against Ukraine increases the human sufferings across the entire country. I would also like to express my sincere gratitude to the Secretary General for his powerful statement and relentless engagement with the situation in my country.
This is major stuff, by the way, guys, okay?
The appointment of Mr. Amin Awad as Assistant Secretary General to serve as UN Crisis Coordinator for Ukraine. As I know, he has arrived to Geneva and resumed his duties.
This is live.
His mission will be extremely difficult against the backdrop of the ongoing Russian military activities that are often equaled to war crimes. At the same time, millions of Ukrainians will require his attention, in particular our children, women, elderly, and other vulnerable citizens. So I wish him and his team strength and mercy in their work. Distinguished members, let us be clear, this is not only a security crisis, this is a humanitarian crisis.
Yes.
This war of choice is not only a violation of international code, it violates the conscience of the world. Security assistance is needed, but it alone is not enough. We call on the international organizations to provide us with humanitarian assistance. We call on you to register all cases in which international law and international humanitarian law are violated.
Yeah.
Almost all speakers and briefers today were unanimous in their assessments. The situation in Ukraine could deteriorate sharply. Let me provide you with the latest available information from the government of Ukraine. Today is the fifth day of a full-scale, unprovoked and unjustified war launched by Russia against Ukraine. Launched by Russia against the very heart of Europe. Launched by Russia against the idea and ideals of democracy. It is the most horrible and large-scale invasion since World War II.
It appears to be.
In the morning, I told the General Assembly about the shellings of the residential city of Kharkiv by Russian Grads, killing and wounding dozens of innocent civilians. Now the residents of Kiev, the home of 3 million innocent people, and its suburbs are sitting within Russian crosshairs right now.
By the way, some Russian propagandist, we'll get to the clip later, said that the claim that there are people dying in Ukraine is fake news. He's just like, no, nobody's dying.
2,040 people.
This is live, guys.
45 children.
Live.
Russia keeps attacking kindergartens and orphanages. Russia is attacking hospitals.
If true, that's a war crime.
Gates with shellfire and sabotage groups. Russia fired an ambulance crews near Zaporizhzhia and Kiev. Let me say that again so that you can see this image in your mind. Russia is attacking hospitals, mobile aid brigades, and ambulances. This is not the action of a state with a legitimate security concern. This is the action of a state determined to kill civilians. There is no debate. These are war crimes. These attacks violate the Rome Statute, and these attacks are far from over.
Now, just a quick note. Russia signed the Rome statutes, but then said, actually, we're out. So, you know, it's sort of like a minor detail, but Russia could be like, we're not even really party to that. We bailed on that.
Disaster and even radioactive contamination. International humanitarian law is crystal clear. None of these facilities are legitimate military targets.
That's true.
The civilian population of Ukraine is the first to suffer from such attacks. And if we do not act today, it will be far from the last. We welcome the statement issued today by the ICC prosecutor Karim Khan on the situation in Ukraine. The statement about his decision to proceed with opening an investigation. In his statement, the ICC prosecutor says that he reviewed the office's conclusions arising from the preliminary examination of the situation in Ukraine and has confirmed that there is a reasonable basis to proceed with opening an investigation. In particular, he is satisfied that there is a reasonable basis to believe that both alleged war crimes and crimes against humanity have been committed in Ukraine.
Seems clear they have.
To the events already assessed during the preliminary examination by the office. Given the expansion of the conflict in recent days, it is his intention that this investigation will also encompass any new alleged crimes falling within the jurisdiction of his office that are committed by any party to the conflict on any part of the territory of Ukraine. The prosecutor will also be asking for the support of all state parties and the international community.
It is nuts that Russia runs the UN Security Council right now. I mean, that is crazy.
Additional budgetary support for voluntary contributions to support all his situations and for the loan of gratis personnel. The importance and urgency of the prosecutor's mission.
It reminds me of when Saudi Arabia was, and they may still be, on the UN Civil Rights Commission. It's like, come on, guys, please.
To my colleagues from around the world, this affects you too. Russian military aggression kills not only Ukrainians, but threatens thousands of foreigners who are staying in Ukraine. The Ukrainian government is doing its best to facilitate their passage at the state border, even as the border has become overwhelmed with the massive influx of people fleeing Russia's armed aggression. Temporary volunteer assistance points have been set up at the border to provide foreign students with food and cater for other humanitarian needs. Please do not be misled by Russian disinformation. There is no discrimination based on race or nationality, and if there are cases, they should be investigated. Journalists working in the free press also are under fire during live reports from the scenes of action and hot spots.
Yep.
A journalist and a photographer working for the Danish newspaper Extra Bladet were injured when their car was targeted in Ahtyrka district of Sumy region. Ukrainian children are crossing the EU-Ukraine border without their parents and without powers of attorney from their parents. In this regard, we request decision makers in the EU countries to provide clarifications and instructions to EU institutions in order to secure free movement of and assistance to such underage persons and their guardians. According to the Ministry of Education of Ukraine, more than 350,000 school children have no access to education. Schools are closed due to severe insecurity in civil areas across the country. The numbers of refugees are being assessed. The numbers could be hundreds of thousands of people who have been forced to flee across international borders into neighboring European countries, mostly Poland, Slovakia, and Romania. It can take several days of waiting to cross the border, and we are grateful that more checkpoints on the border with Poland have been opened, including 2 additional pedestrian crossings for all who want to get from Ukraine to the neighboring safe country. Kyiv local authorities have set up a coordinating humanitarian headquarters to provide food and basic necessities to those in need. An electronic platform will be launched tomorrow. On this platform, businesses will be able to provide information about their available resources, and Kyiv residents will be able to announce their needs. All of this information will be systematized for effective communication and distribution of essential goods. Olga Stefanishina, the Vice Prime Minister of Ukraine, who has been appointed as a government coordinator for humanitarian assistance, working 24/7. There are many urgent things to do, like to agree on humanitarian corridors to evacuate civilians from the most endangered territories. However, I need to warn you not to be misled by Russian assurances of security. Russian words often, if not always, do not match their deeds. For instance, just recently we heard Russian politicians and diplomats, even here in this chamber, who said that there would be no invasion, no attacks on Ukraine. Hence, these corridors can be easy targets to the Russian army. To help people at the border, crossing points in western regions of Ukraine who are waiting for crossing for at least 1 to 2 days. To provide assistance to IDPs in western regions of Ukraine, including housing, schools, jobs.
Guys, these are the full subtitles. You're missing like one line of pixels. There's nothing below it. These are the subtitles.
From markets, including in the occupied territories. Distinguished members of the Security Council, this is not only a security crisis, this is a humanitarian crisis, as I said before. The Russian war against Ukraine has brought the entire region to the brink of humanitarian catastrophe. Let me therefore repeat our call to the international organizations to provide all possible humanitarian assistance and to register all cases in which international law and international humanitarian law are violated. You have all heard the lies from the Russian side, lies in Moscow, lies in the General Assembly, and lies in the Security Council. Distinguished members of the Security Council and friends around the world, do not listen to Russian lies. Listen to Ukraine's cries. Listen to the cries of men, women, and children who have lived in peace, who deserve to remain in peace, who will forever support your own nation's efforts for peace across Europe and around the world. Russia has tried and failed to defend its lies, but the people of Ukraine, with the help of the world, will never fail to defend our land.
Let's hope.
Do not listen to Russia's lies. Listen to Ukrainian cries. We need your help. The Russian ambassador laments that a dozen of Russian spies won't be able anymore to enjoy all the benefits of American life while doing things incompatible with their status used as a cover-up.
Yeah.
The Russian ambassador should instead work hard to report to his superiors that only his cronies, a bunch of cronies, buy his narrative here in the United Nations. I want to conclude with saying that I'm looking forward to midnight, even though the midnight is the most dangerous time right now because that's when the most of the attacks take place. But I'm looking forward to midnight, when this abomination, occupation of the seat of the President of the Council, will be over. I thank you.
Wow. Wow.
I would like to now give the floor to Martin Griffiths and Filippo Grandi and ask them to answer the question that we put when we made the statement about the placement of heavy weaponry in residential areas in Ukrainian towns, and how is this in line with international humanitarian law. Thank you.
So I guess what he's saying is, well, if civilians are getting killed, which they say they aren't, it's because you guys are putting artillery near civilians, which we are then shooting.
No confirmation of such reports of radicals placing such weaponry in residential areas. The fact is that accountability at this stage for breaches of international humanitarian law, which we must see in time, is naturally at this level of the conflict and this level of the violence, at this level of the uncertainty, very difficult to establish. We are truly in a period of a fog of war, a fog which obscures the futures of so many people.
This is starting to, it's been surreal. It's getting doubly surreal.
Points I would add in my remarks, in my briefing, about our fears of the impact on civilian objects, civilian infrastructure, as a result of urban warfare. I mentioned, for example, Mr. President, our reminder that large-scale urban warfare also requires the need to avoid the wide-area explosive weapons. We are very, very concerned at what we're seeing now in the streets of some of the key large modern cities of Ukraine, the way in which people are voting with their feet, the way in which basic services are being interrupted, and the way in which civilian infrastructure is being damaged. And we will, in time, I am quite sure, discover who did what and who broke which requirements of international humanitarian law. Thank you very much.
That is a threat. If people are unsure, that is a threat.
Thank you. No, I wanted to ask Filippo Grandi, do you want to take the floor?
No, thank you, Mr. President. I fully support what the Undersecretary General just said. Thank you.
There are no more names described on the list of speakers, but before adjourning the meeting, I would like to say that whilst listening to our briefers, I was surprised because just the reports and videos and information in Ukraine, some of them are taken as fact and others which are obvious, the ones that we have in the
This guy's disgusting, by the way.
unquestionably reliable, are being considered inaccurate, unreliable, are considered not to be verified. Well, we're going to have drawn lessons from that, and
We're learning some lessons, all right.
the UN leadership will tell us how the Ukrainian activities are to be considered. There are no more names inscribed, as I said, but before adjourning the meeting, as this is the last scheduled meeting of the Council for the month of February, I would like to express a sincere appreciation of the delegation of the Russian Federation to the members of the Council and the Secretariat for all the support that they've given to us. It was a busy month. We managed to get to consensus on several important issues within our purview, although, as you know, not on everyone. I would like to once again thank all the representatives of the Secretariat, including the conference services.
He's acting like they agreed on the lunch menu for next month for the preschool.
Staff. Our presidency is coming to an end, and I know I speak on behalf of the Council in wishing the delegation of the United Arab Emirates good luck in the month of March. The meeting is adjourned.
I would never advocate violence. If someone open-handed slapped that guy in the top of the head as he walks out, it wouldn't shock me. I mean, it's just incredible what's going on. Oh my God, what an absolute disaster. So we're going to get to all of these things. This is the adjournment of the UN Security Council. And of course, the big news is that Putin is alluding to using nuclear weapons. If you're just joining us, please keep it here as we're going to continue monitoring everything that is going on. We're monitoring multiple feeds all over the place and following everything, quite frankly. It's the last day of the month, and I have such an incredible agenda to get to over the next period of time with you guys. And I'm so glad that you're here. Welcome everybody watching on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. Please don't go anywhere. About 10,000 people watching with us right now, and I really appreciate that. Thanks to Dan Cutter as well as Bradley Hughes for signing up on my website. I really appreciate that. Also, everybody watching on Twitch, including Hajil, WebTech, Jenny, 6LJ, Demideus, Xanamakes, and Bone Master. All of you, really appreciate that, putting us at 21 for the day. Just because it's the last day of the month and it's not been a good month, and February, as many of you know, only has 28 days most years, we are doing something we've never done before. Through midnight Eastern tonight, I am blowing out memberships. We have a coupon code. It's only valid for the next 7 hours. It's No Putin, No February. No Putin, no February. All one word. You've got to know how to spell Putin. You've got to know how to spell February. February. Remember that. It's 75% off at joinpacman.com. We've never done anything like it before. Let's do it. It's not been the best month because it's only 28 days, guys. It's only 28 days. So for February, No Putin, no February is the code. And the first person to use it on my website, I'll also send you a free item from my online store. Okay. Let's go. I mean, I have so much stuff. First, since the Russian invasion of Ukraine started, the amount of insane voicemails and hate mails that I'm getting are completely off the charts. Here's just one such example.
Yo, what up, David Pac-Man? I pull up with a track, man. I'm a little Jew boy. And I said, yeah, man. Hey.
Jew boy? It's been a while since I heard that.
Hey. What's up, David? I just wanted to ask you why you always talking out the side of your fucking mouth, my boy. You always like moving your lips like.
It's true. I move my lips when I talk. Guilty as charged, sir.
Like zip lip, and then you move it to the right. I start talking. It's fucking. You look like a fucking moron, dude.
Yeah. Hey, I talk out of the side. I mean, what is this?
That's all I gotta say, you fucking stupid ass bitch.
Right.
Dumb bitch, David Pac woman.
Ooh, oh boy. Little misogyny there, huh? So anyway, that came in. Here's another one.
You're just another worthless damn Democrat. Go fuck yourself.
I am not a Democrat. I have never been a Democrat. Are you today, or have you ever been a member of the Democratic Party? No. No, I have not. So that's going on. There's a bunch of people who want to be unbanned from Twitch. They were banned for completely toxic behavior. I do have a gavel here with which I can adjudicate them being unbanned. Here's a user named Beastie Wolf who came in here and said, what did they even say? Actually, I'm just going to unban them. It's not even clear why they were banned. They're unbanned. Let me go to somebody else. Here's another user, Charmhole, who came in and said, David, do you answer questions on Twitch, or is this channel for money laundering only? Okay, yeah, accusing us of criminality is a permaban. And then someone came in and said Trump 2024. I'm going to unban. We're not banning for Trump 2024. That's a political opinion. Trump 2020, I know this is subtle and nuanced. Trump 2020, I consider to be trolling because it's over. Trump 2024, as long as you're not multi-spamming it in all caps like 20 times, I would allow Trump 2024. It's just an opinion of who you're supporting in 2024. So that we allow. Okay. Giovanni says via Super Chat, does that mean President Putin could be charged with war crimes? Our prayers are with Ukraine. I mean, yeah, he could be, but you're not going to get Putin on that. Thanks to Ham Hair for the Twitch Prime subscription. You're number 22. The first person today to use the very powerful new coupon code. What is the code? No Putin, no February. The first person to do that is Adam Bennett. Adam, you have won a free item from my online store. Email info@davidpakman.com to collect. Also, thank you to some other great people signing up on my website. Glenn Ratner, Kathy Hinson, Jesse David, Debbie Heyer, Brian Simmons and Colby Cole. Whoa. Scotty H. and David Roberson, Laura Ray, Christian Fryer. This is like a huge dump of memberships. Jonas Tamyarv, Anthony Baez, Michelle Tucker, Dexy Coe, and Bhuvana Pathy. Oh, sorry, and one more. Tony Ruffcar. 16 new members, putting us at 39. It's the last day of the month. Never before seen 75% off coupon code is no Putin, no February. Let's continue because I have so much more for you guys. This is something very interesting. I don't remember doing this clip. This is a clip from November of 2017. Apparently someone called me and said, David, what happens to Trumpists after Trump? I have no memory of what I said, but a viewer told me, David, you've got to look at this on a stream because what you predicted was exactly correct. Let's listen to what I said 5 years ago, 4.5 years ago, and see if I was right. All right, let's see who else is on the phones because there are a lot of people here waiting. Let's go to our caller from the 818 area code. Caller from 818, what's on your mind?
Hey, David. So I think it's fair to say that no matter what happens with the Bob Mueller investigation, Trump's approval probably won't dip below like 25 or 30%. Like no matter what happens, maybe a quarter or so of the country will just stick with him to the bitter end.
I think so.
So what I'd like to ask, what I'd like to ask is, even when Trump is gone, what happens to these people? Because, like, I find it funny to look at Trump supporters online, but I also find it kind of disturbing to see kind of like how easily exploited they are and how willing they are to be exploited by somebody as stupid as Trump. So, like, have we basically entered an idiocracy age in American politics? Like, is there going to be a Trump 2.0?
Well, listen, there's a couple different ways this could go. It's an interesting question. What happens to the Trumpist after Trump? What is a post-Trump world like for Trumpists? Do they just see it? I have literally no idea what I answered on this question. As the golden era, as so many ideological conservatives now see the 1950s, that's what we would like to get back to. I don't know. I think that there will be significant. I actually worry that post-Trump, you might see significantly increased levels of violence from Trumpists. That's one question.
Even if he has a successful presidency to their standards and goes out with 2 full terms?
Yeah, I think that after he's gone, if things don't go the way that they expect them or believe that they should go, that they might become significantly inflamed. Wow. I think the broader question is, does Trump trigger, for lack of a better term, Trump 2.0, Trump 3.0? Does Trump legitimize the idea of sort of a clueless buffoon being a president? And that's the biggest concern for me, because I think the answer is yes. I think the answer is yes, because even with only 25%, you can basically, with 50% voter turnout, you can win an election with, certainly with 26% approval, even less if you get the votes in the right states because of the electoral vote system. So that's really the concern for me, the idea that now we are going to get Trump 2.0 and 3.0 and that it'll be an absolute mess.
Wow. Well, interesting. Yeah. Some of that stuff certainly has happened. So it's interesting to look back and to see that. And certainly, we have now Trump 2.0 and 3.0 in Congress, right? Madison Cawthorn, Marge Green, and Lauren Boebert, all of it. It's a sad circumstance. There's no doubt about it. It's a sad circumstance. But DeSantis, right? Exactly. Is there any mention of sanctioning Belarus for their involvement? I've heard it whispered, but I don't know what's going to happen with it. David, you're a funny May fake A. Keep doing you. Okay, thank you. That's Fitznutz. That's it, sir. That clip proves you're part of the deep state working with the Illuminati. How else could you predict the future?
That is a frickin' predator right there. Pac-Man's a loser.
Yeah. Thank you to Snappy Tam and R Rhino, as well as Matt Frazier, for the Twitch Prime subscriptions. Guys, this is the last day of the month. If we get to 100 members, I'll open phone lines just to celebrate the end of the month. Oh, and we may get there. I want to say thanks to Anna Philhauer. Look at all these people signing up on my website. Elizabeth Davis, thank you. Corey Schutz is a new member. Shayna Hager. Jack McLean. Eliana Del Rio. Joe Camerieri. Sid Boscheman. I feel like I'm doing okay with name pronunciations today. Thanks to Jeff Kelly, and welcome to Justin Jones on my website. Also, Corey Powell and Philip Crater, all signing up on my website. That's 10 more folks, putting us at 52. We've got a last day of the month membership special. We've never, ever, ever seen it before, but we are looking at it strongly. And the code is No Putin, No February, 75% off, ends at midnight. And people are very, very distraught by it. Okay, here is a CNN report of a destroyed column of Russian military vehicles outside Kyiv. Given the limited resources of the Ukrainian resistance and military, it's incredible what is going on.
Right within the past few hours,
there
has been a ferocious battle here on the outskirts of Kiev. And this is one of those Russian Soviet-era vehicles which is completely burned out. You can see this is a bridge, actually, is an access point to the northwest of Kiev, the Ukrainian capital. And the Russian column that has come down here has been absolutely hammered. Obviously, we're still in a very exposed situation right now, but
this is crazy.
Here, there's the debris everywhere, the twisted metal of these vehicles. This is obviously just a truck carrying supplies. We saw the armored vehicle in front there. Looking around, absolutely. Look at this. What kind of munitions does it take to do that to a car, to a vehicle? I know that I've been speaking to the local Ukrainian commanders here. They've been saying that they were using Western anti-tank missiles.
Okay, and we're gonna. So you get the idea. I believe that there is gore at the end of the video, so we're gonna get away from that before we get another 10 bans on every platform. Here is Jen Psaki, the White House press secretary. Again asked, might Joe Biden send the U.S. military? And she says no.
For many people who are living there right now.
Just lastly, you've been very clear that the president does not have any intention to deploy U.S. troops to engage militarily in this conflict. But would you say that there is any particular red line that this administration has that would necessitate military action?
As in sending our U.S. military into Ukraine? The president has no plans to send U.S. military to fight a war in Ukraine against Russia.
Right. They're being extraordinarily clear about that. And of course, the difficulty is how can you do more and more, which clearly both the American people and the international community want Western powers to do without doing that. And it appears as though That is a very hard line for Joe Biden, and I agree with that line, certainly. Here is that same Russian ambassador to the UN, Vasily Nebenzia, who is now doing the fake news stuff, very, very Trumpian, saying that the reports of hundreds of Ukrainian civilian casualties are quite simply fake news.
Reports about 100 civilians dead. There are a lot of reports today. And I said that there are a lot of fake news. There are a lot of fake factories that produce.
There is a fake news, guys, he says.
Those news.
By the way, most of the fake news factories are in Russia. It's funny. There's this weird thing that's very similar between Russian and Trumpian propaganda. It's riddled with projection. And it's funny to talk about fake news factories. The most prominent fake news factories are in Russia. Very, very good long form pieces about the Internet Research Agency, one such organ, and I use the term organization loosely.
We do not have credible reports on civilian casualties. Of course, war is a bad thing, and anything can happen.
War is bad. I mean, they started one, yes, and war is bad. They started an optional one. There wouldn't be a war right now were it not for them.
But to call this, to consider those reports credible, is very difficult, since we are witnessing and we are encountering massive propaganda campaign reports.
Yeah. There's definitely a propaganda campaign. That's for sure. That's for sure. A commanding PR presence and videos of bravery have made Zelensky an international hero. How will this play into Putin's psyche? It's got to be destroying him. It really does. Because Zelensky was not particularly popular before all of this. He really wasn't. And this has had the effect of, first, it seems from the intelligence community that Russia expected to quickly be able to overwhelm Ukraine. That didn't happen. They're taking casualties for sure, and taking equipment losses and other things. In addition to that, Zelensky has become so popular, and this I'm not praising him. I'm not ignoring any of the things that he's done wrong in the past. I'm just stating a fact. The world is now, for the most part, coming to the defense of Ukraine. And it's got to be absolutely crushing Putin based on what we know about him. You should cover the destruction of the AN-225. Yeah, I don't know much about that. Destruction, AN-225. It was destroyed in Russian strikes. Yeah, the AN-225 is this monstrous plane. And it was destroyed in a Russian attack on an airfield. Was it accidentally destroyed by Russia? Where the plane was, let's see, was destroyed in an attack in Ukraine. Yeah, I'm going to have to research what happened, but it has been confirmed destroyed. That is true. It was at Kyiv airport at the time. Okay, fair. Fair. Let's continue here. Here is footage of Russian forces in Ukraine marching back to Russian territory, and civilians are thanking them for leaving. Interesting.
Мужики, растяжешь. Детвора сама, детвора идет. Какие растяжешь? Все, давай, давай. Слава Украине. Мужики, живыми домой вернитесь.
Off they go. Yep. So there's that. Here is the Ukrainian ambassador to the United Nations basically saying Putin should just kill himself. He shouldn't kill other people. And if he just wants to precipitate his own demise, like, for example, by considering nukes, he should just do what Hitler did.
We have been prompted to call for an emergency special session as the level of the threat to the global security has been equated to that of the Second World War, or even higher, following Putin's order to put and alert Russian nuclear forces. What a madness.
Yeah.
If he wants to kill himself, he doesn't need to use nuclear arsenal. He has to do what the guy in Berlin did in a bunker in May. 1945.
Right. Right. Wow. Wow. A lot happening, guys. A lot happening. Some people reacted to that by saying based and blue-pilled. I don't even really know what that means, but I would never suggest anyone take their own life. This is one of those things where what I think is being said is if Putin has a death wish, if Putin is, as some are speculating, terminally ill or has lost his mind or whatever, right? Like if Putin is determined to kind of go out, be taken out, he could do it in a way where he doesn't harm other people, I think is the point that people are saying. And man, this it's a surreal situation. Absolutely surreal situation. Okay, so we did this. Oh, here's a report, by the way, about the AN-225. Let's see.
A shocking end to an aircraft that has seen more than 30 years of service, dating back to the days of the Soviet Union. The AN-225 was sometimes drafted to help airlift aid during crises in other countries. It proved to be useful during the pandemic for bringing medical supplies from China to Kiev. It later flew to many more countries with medical aid and supplies. Experts say that the plane's restoration is possible, but it would cost over $3 billion and a long period of time.
$3 billion?
On the broadcast this minute is Dmytro Nataluk.
I thought planes were in the hundreds of millions range. $3 billion. Let's see. Boeing 747-8 cost new. This is the new. Right. Even the 748 is 418 million. How would it be $3 billion? I know it's a big plane. That is wild.
It's bearable. It's controllable. And I mean, we are defending our land. We are defending our soil. We are defending our people, our children, our country, and our future. So for us, it's something that we do with some duress, but if I can say the word pleasure, because I think this is the noblest thing one can do in his life is to defend his own country. We didn't call for it. We didn't start it.
Wow.
We wanted to go on in peace and
this is a member of Ukrainian parliament.
Our own future in the European family. But that is what Russia decided. That is what Putin decided. They decided to unleash this war, to unleash this aggression, and to invade our country. So what choice?
Is that the stock of a weapon right there?
To defend it.
Dmytro, how optimistic are you about the Ukraine-Russia talks at this point? What are your expectations?
But I mean, what are we talking about? While they're holding the so-called negotiations, Kharkiv, the second largest city in Ukraine, has been heavily shelled. And not just on some infrastructure or military objects, but residential areas have been shelled. Civilian population has been shelled.
Members of parliament are taking up guns in Ukraine, guys. Wow. Can you imagine Josh Hawley doing this? Give me a break.
So what do you want to negotiate after this? I mean, what is a negotiation is supposed to be? Are they expecting us to do any trade-offs after shelling our people who didn't deserve it, who are not even military people, like just random civilian people with children, old ladies and stuff like that? I doubt there are going to be any negotiations in terms of the result and in terms of the efficiency.
All right. So he's not super optimistic here about the negotiations that are taking place. Oh boy, it is getting very, very ugly. This is a weird super chat. Remember when we spent hundreds of millions to impeach our president and there was zero evidence, but he's a threat to democracy? What are you talking about? You guys don't remember the whole perfect phone call thing where he was withholding aid from Ukraine, which by the way would have been pretty useful in exchange for dirt on Biden? And he ultimately was pressured into releasing it. I guess it's just a troll. I don't know. Did Putin threaten us with nukes? Please explain. Vladimir Putin announced that as a response to the the sanctions against Russia, which he says are aggression, he is upping the nuclear force to a higher level of readiness, suggesting that he might use nukes. That's what Putin did. We looked at the article at the top of the stream. I also have a video clip that I published to YouTube, and it is utterly insane. Utterly, utterly insane. Super chats are pouring in. Achievement unlocked, World War III 2022. Well, let's hope not. Okay, so we covered that. Let me say a couple other thank yous before we move on. There's just such great people supporting our stream today on the last day of the month. Thanks to Mindy Joy and Cayenne Pepper. Cayenne Pepper, numbers 53 and 54. Incredible dumps of memberships are coming in. It's truly quite shocking.
They call them dumps.
I want to say thank you to Dan Rennery, Jorge Leon, Martin Robertson, Donna Banks, Jesus Leon, maybe brother signing up, Jonathan Renovici, Susan Tucker, Justin Dusage, Rob Mans, Thomas Brown, Polly Pelly, Rodolfo Hinojosa, Kevin Hume, I can barely keep up with these, Anthony Pavic, Devin Boston, Bonnie Canis, Marissa Woodburn, John Bowman, and Sean Henning. Thank you to all of you, putting us at 69. Exy just gifted 5, also putting us at 74. I'll open phone lines, guys, if we get to 100. Yeah, the big deal is it's the last day of the month. February is often a tough month because it's a shorter month. It's wider, but it is much shorter, only 28 days. And so one day only, we have launched a probably against the law coupon code. The code is no Putin, no February. You've got to spell it correctly, and I can't help you with that. But the coupon code is no Putin, no February. And you can use that code at joinpacman.com. And it's just shocking what is going on. I want to briefly check in on what Stephen, Kenneth, Destiny, Bennett. Oh, he's done. Oh, he was walking around Washington, D.C., and I wanted to check out what he was doing. All right, so that's that. Let's see what Hassan, Destiny, Piker the second is up to. People have been constantly telling me that Hassan's doing all sorts of things. Let's listen.
Classic Putin shit where he's just like saying whatever. You know what I mean?
I've only watched Hassan stream a few times, and I'm curious. A lot of people contacting me and telling me there's bad stuff happening.
Unlikely to survive this defeat. Meanwhile, it's unlikely that Putin wins by the same methods. It's not that Russian morale is low. It's rather that it depends on how hard the war is. Most Russian troops would be enthusiastic or wouldn't mind against a small foreign vacation with fun and adventures. Fighting a hard, long war with a real possibility of death is another matter. Morale of Russian troops is widely overestimated. According to my sociological studies, the main motivation to enlist is usually to get an apartment. I don't know if this is true or not, but it makes sense. I mean, American motivation is kind of like the American motivation being, you know, college education, free college, healthcare, and a little bit of fun and adventure now. As a chance to get a housing from the state. Now, if you're dead, you can't get housing. Perhaps those already in Ukraine have little choice, but the very fact that the resistance continues, war is bloody, and casualties are real would hugely demotivate those back at home. Expect no enthusiasm to go there on the Russian side.
Is he just reading tweets?
What can Putin do? Start destroying infrastructure. Done. Blockade cities. Done. Simply level cities with bombers and artillery like in Chechnya or Syria. Maybe. Okay. Putin's attacks on infrastructure are severely limited, unless he means like unless he means like infrastructure is literally like military encampments and then misfires that end up. Because he's saying he blockaded a city and he started destroying infrastructure. He's saying done. First two would inflict humanitarian catastrophe as he hopes to break the will. Third one is problematic. Unlike Chechnya and Syria, where you could easily justify open genocide with fighting jihadis, which is a fair play in the war on terror, he's not saying that that's appropriate. He's just saying that message.
All right. Well, I'm going to be in LA soon. I'm going to go to Hassan's house and then we'll see what's going on. See what's up with that. So that's Hassan's stream. Let me see. So we did this already and we did that. Okay. I have, by the way, if we want to look, I have like a sub list. This is my private list of sources that I have on Twitch, just various video, Twitter rather. Let's see just some random things. Freedom Caucus won't say whether they disavow Nick Fuentes. That's that white nationalist.
Sure.
I wanted to ask if the caucus is committed to disavowing Nick Fuentes.
No, we're talking about what they're talking about. I said if you have questions for Freedom Caucus members, we'll take them after. Do you have any questions of these fine individuals that came to talk about their lives being destroyed?
Oof. A lot of strange stuff. DeSantis says Putin is an authoritarian gas station attendant.
This is a guy who's basically an authoritarian gas station attendant, okay, with some legacy nuclear weapons from the old Soviet Union. Their whole society is hollowed out except for that energy. And so if you want to hit them at the gas pump, hit them with energy. This is a...
Man, DeSantis is really vile. Pat Robertson came out of retirement to claim, ooh, wow, he is not looking good, that claim Putin is being compelled by God to invade Ukraine in preparation for a massive end times invasion of Israel. Oh, my God.
I think you can say, well, Putin's out of his mind. Yes, maybe so. But at the same time, he's being compelled.
Where did his eyebrows go?
By God. He went into the Ukraine, but that wasn't his goal. His goal was to move against Israel ultimately. And God is getting ready to do something amazing, and that will be fulfilled. And what Putin is doing by moving as he is to set up Ukraine as a staging ground for one of the armies, and then across is Erdogan at Turkey, and you've got between them that little Dardanelles area, and it's going to happen. So I just say that is...
I mean, listen, it's crazy, but it's better than most of the analysis we saw at CPAC. That's for sure. I'll give him that. Charlie Kirk accuses Ukraine of being more interested in winning the propaganda war than the kinetic war.
A lot of people watching, I'm sure, have questions such as, the Zelensky videos seem a little too rehearsed. And I'm not saying that Zelensky is not under threat.
How can you even tell that unless you speak Ukrainian?
Saying that Zelensky is someone that isn't likely going to be displaced by the invading Russians. What I am saying, though, is we know Zelensky is an actor. We know that. Zelensky was part of the Hollywood community in Ukraine.
Uh-oh. I think what he means is he's Jewish. I had this tweet I put out. I hope you guys are following me on Twitter, by the way. It's a grand old time. By the way, this picture of Putin meeting with his top, these are his top advisors. His medium advisors have to be in a different room when he meets with them. His top advisors just have to be 50 feet away. It's crazy. But anyway, what I tweeted yesterday was, where was this? Oh, here it is. When they criticize Zelensky for being a globalist puppet of George Soros, they just mean he's Jewish, right?
And we also know that some of these stories that a lot of people have been publicizing, such as the Ukrainian border patrol on Snake Island and many other stories that we've heard, such as the ghost over Kyiv, are getting debunked and, let's say, getting cross-examined in real time. Ukraine is winning the propaganda war. That is for sure. In fact, it seems as if Ukraine is more worried about the propaganda.
It's just weird because, like, objectively, Russia invaded Ukraine. So what does he even really mean? You know, like, I mean, they were invaded. It sort of seems like he's saying it only seems like they're the victims because they're fighting the propaganda war better or something. It's a very strange take.
War than they are actually about the kinetic war.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're completely overwhelmed. If Russia were to deploy its full resources, which it doesn't appear to have done, I mean, what a weird take. Man, it's very, very strange. Yeah, we're not even going to deal with that. That's a no-go. We already looked at this clip. We looked at Pat Robertson. A lot of people are quoting these clips. That's why they come up more than once. Let me see if there's anything else that I wanted to cover here. We looked at this clip already. We looked at this clip already. Oh, wait a second. I guess this was a weird question.
Specifically, is the president, will he walk in, shake hands? Will he be wearing a mask when he walks in?
Well, he will certainly not be wearing a mask when he's speaking. I have not talked to him yet about whether he's going to wear a mask when he's walking down the aisle.
Yeah. So, by the way, tomorrow night is the State of the Union, guys. I really hope you will all join me. It's going to be the first stream of March. We're going to start an hour before Biden starts. Now, for the love of God, can someone confirm that the speech is at 9? Because it normally is. Joe Biden State of the Union schedule, March 1, 20. I just want someone to confirm it's really at 9 p.m. Beautiful. So I will start at 8 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, and I do hope that everybody joins me. I hope everybody joins me. All right. So we looked at a few of those things there. Let me get over to... Oh, thanks to Sterling Lana and Nasty Questions for the Twitch Prime subscriptions, putting us at 76. The membership dumps continue to pour in. Thanks to Tracy Steyer for signing up on my website. Kathleen Arnold is a new member. Anthony Phillips. Kilroy Jenkins. Jackie Ott and Angela Hagen are new members. Crystal Heath Vike and Brian DeCaney. Stuart Birch and C. Mao. I guess that's Chairman Mao. Thank you for signing up, putting us at 86. Guys, we might actually do it. If we get to 100, I'll open phone lines right now because it's the last day of the month, because it's February. We're saying bye-bye to February with the one-day 75% off coupon code, No Putin, No February. No Putin, No February. And that gives you access to the bonus show.
Oh, the bonus show where you want to make money. Everybody else that makes money to fund themselves is bad.
Also, thanks to iZai for the Twitch subscription, puts us at 87. Guys, we might be able to do it. We might be able to do it. Let me get to some voicemails. The voicemail number is out of control.
And another thing for Michael Knowles, an Italian lady taught me how to yell and talk fucking trash. But guess what? My brother taught me how to fight and make an old lady fucking kiss the floor without a fucking scratch, you dumbass fucking bitch.
Oh my God. Whitney shot out of a cannon today. Whitney completely shot out of a cannon. Oh my God. Thanks to Colors ATK. If today is the last day of febrile screeds, oh man, this is nuts.
I'm gonna go get some Pringle lips, a fucking pig nose, and some extra fleshy stuff to put around my jaw and show you how fucking normal she looks. Michael Knowles.
Michael Knowles is one of those, the Daily Wire, Ben Shapiro guys, and Whitney is furious with him.
Yes, that's propaganda. We're saying normal people should shut their fucking mouths. You want to hold a gun?
Oh my God. Shot out of a cannon. Eric from Mass continuing to deliver disinformation.
Hey, David, it's Eric from Mass. Can you explain to me and your listeners why the COVID-19 contains a patented gene sequence?
Did he say COPA-19?
Considering I've called you before and showed you the patent number. Actually,
guys, no. COVID-19 is not a patented bioweapon. I'm sorry. It's not a patented bioweapon. That's not true. Thanks to Waximus and Sumi Long, Milo Wild also gifting 5 subs. Guys, we're at 95. This may genuinely happen. We're at 95. If we get to 100, the phone lines will be blown wide open, and you can use the coupon code No Putin, No February just today to sign up on my website. And number 100, I will give a free item to from the online store. Let's end February on a high note. Kim says, David, I just got notified I leave for Ukraine tomorrow as part of Foreign Legion Territorial Defense of Ukraine. Wanted to say you're one of my favorite news sources. Kim, be safe, be safe, be safe, and check in if you're able. Wow. That's, I would be scared. I would be scared.
Let me reiterate what I just said to Michael Knowles again. I want to make sure he hears it loud and clear. If you guys are so fucking normal, then get a gun and defend our country. People like me are sick and tired of defending people that call themselves normal. We're crazy. We're getting our babies taken away from us. We don't look normal to you?
Right.
Okay. by all means, let's have normalcy, people defend our country.
Wow. Well, I don't know what Michael Knowles did, but he clearly did something to really, really set Whitney off.
So I wanted to speak to Michael Knowles. Can you tell him that, yes, that is propaganda. Normal people will get guns. They will go to war. I don't care what they look like and that they have normal noses or whatever. If you want to take our guns and say that normal people deserve guns and the military and the police and the army do not, then you motherfucking pigs can go to fucking war.
Wow. Wow, a major shot across the bow from Whitney. I don't really know what she's talking about, but it's a very, very high level of activity.
Yes, David Pacman. What is happening in Ukraine is a national global tragedy and unnecessary. What we are seeing is the eradication of the people. And part of the cause
Is this Troy York's out of breath character? This is a new one.
this, without a doubt, I put full cause.
Okay, it's very, very boring.
You son of a bitch. Why don't you fucking, you know Biden's just a fucking surrogate, you son of a bitch. I don't know why you won't just fucking admit it on your show. You know Biden's fucking, he's a surrogate for Putin. I don't know
A surrogate for pooping? That's weird.
why you
Like
won't,
what does that mean? Is that a medical issue?
I don't know why you won't talk about it on your show.
I've never heard it.
You know he's just a surrogate for Putin. You, David, you know he only invaded Ukraine because of Biden being president. Talk about it on your show. Stop ignoring the subject.
Wow. People are really, really struggling. I sort of have a regular gauge of the mental health of the country based on how many messages I get that are like that. And I can tell you from the last 5 days, there is a lot of strife out there, folks. There's a lot of strife out there. Just using the calls I get as an indicator. Very, very difficult stuff. Very, very difficult stuff. I want to say thank you to Kyle Edwards for signing up on my website. Thank you to Debbie Rosenblum, Idi Poyote, Harrison Ha, and Matt Lilly. Thank you, putting us at 100 callers. I'm sorry, 100 members. Let's take some calls, okay? DavidPacman.com/Discord. Also, a huge thank you to Jen here, Agent Shadow, gifted 5 on Twitch, Nikki's Heels, Richie Bird Nation, and DM Sasquatch putting us at 108. It's a record-setting day. Flea Girl is dumping in a membership. Let's talk to some people. Let me talk to some of you. We haven't done this for a while. Let's see. Hold on. Would I be interested in talking to Dylan Burns about Russia-Ukraine at some point? Yeah, I would do that. Yeah, let's do it sometime soon. That's cool. I enjoyed my last conversation with Dylan Burns. That sounds good. Guys, if you want to talk to me right now, go on davidpacman.com/Discord and get in the waiting lobby, okay? And then I will talk to some people. This is going to be a really great thing. We're going to close out February with that. Oh, also thank you to the Naughty Reaper for the Twitch Prime subscription. Really appreciate everybody. God, and more people signing up. Stephen Roberts is a new member using the code No Putin, No February. Eduardo Delgado signing up. Also, that puts us at 112. That coupon code expires at midnight. Guys, let's do it. Let's hear from some people. First guest today is Emily. Emily, go. Emily, go.
Hey, David. Sorry, it took me a while to unmute. I'm just curious. I have a hot take here, and
they're gone. I'm not tolerating those noises. Do not use push to talk. Turn notifications off. We just can't do it. If you fix it, I'll consider going back to you. It's just too frustrating to the audience. It's blinging and blanging, and people just go absolutely crazy. Let's go to Shayna from California. Please, Shayna, rescue us.
Hi, Mr. Pacman. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Please call me David.
Hi, David. Nice to meet you.
Pleasure.
I just signed up a couple of minutes ago.
Thank
with
you.
your code, please no more.
You're an American hero. I appreciate it.
And I just want to say I like your show.
Thank you.
Regarding the situation, you shouldn't panic. You shouldn't scream about World War III because panicking will make things worse. People are going to start panic buying and spreading rumors and cause lots of chaos. So don't panic. Stay calm. Trust the president. And he knows what he's doing.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you so much. I appreciate the message of peace and love and calm.
Okay, I'll be here tomorrow for the State of the Union. I'll be watching your stream for that.
Beautiful. Where in California are you, Shayna?
Sacramento.
Okay, I've never been there. Is it nice? I hear it's very hot.
It's warm-ish.
Yeah.
70s.
All right, Shayna, thank you very much. What a day. Let's continue speaking to different people. Roy from South Jersey, you are next up. Roy from South Jersey.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
I was just wondering because I have a lot of family in the Czech Republic and whatnot. A lot of people there want to go fight, and a lot of people have with the Foreign Legion that Ukraine has set up.
Right.
Do you think that could potentially cause relations issues if Russia sees a lot of people going to join that?
Relations issues between which parties?
Between the people, the countries from which the people are joining, like Czech Republic, Poland, even the United States, if some people decide to go.
I don't know. I mean, Russia's got so many problems relationally with also. I don't know that Russia's going to say, oh, the makeup of the people coming are from these countries. We're now going to start. I mean, Russia's already not getting along with most countries because the world is mostly united behind Ukraine. So no, I don't think so. I don't think that's going to be a big deal.
Okay. And do you think that the crash of the ruble and the rates and all that will actually make a big impact?
Sorry, you cut out. Do I think that what will make an impact?
With the ruble collapsing, the interest rates being doubled in one day.
Oh my God, yeah. I'm reading that it could take decades for Russia to recover from this economic calamity.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. There it is. Roy seemingly liking that it could be decades. Interesting reaction. He seemed giddy almost about it. That was interesting. Okay, I want to say thanks to Jody Motionless as well as Eldercroft for the Twitch Prime subscriptions, pushing us to 114. Also, thank you to Margaret Banshee for the joinpacman.com membership. You guys earned it. We've opened phone lines. Let's go to Adam from Mississippi. Adam, go.
Hey, David, can you hear me?
I can.
Awesome. Thank you. First of all, huge fan. I've been listening since like 2014.
Oh, thank you.
And I signed up 2 years ago, and I'm loving the membership.
I appreciate that.
But I actually wanted to ask you first, do you think that the situation in Russia is going to impact, or in Ukraine, is going to impact the American election? Like, personally on social media, I've seen a lot of comparisons between Zelensky and Cruz when Ted Cruz decided to leave Texas.
Yes.
During the
You're saying unfavorable comparisons to Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz went to Cancun, whereas Zelensky said, "Send me bullets."
Correct. Yes. Yeah. But like, I'm not sure if, and while I agree with that comparison, I don't know if the people who are hardline, like Ted Cruz, hardline right-wing supporters, I don't know if they're going to be swayed by anything like that. And same with Trumpists. Trump said right before Putin decided to invade that that Putin was very smart or something like that.
Yeah.
But again, I don't think that's going to sway a lot of hardline right-wingers, hardline Trumpists. Do you think that might have any sort of impact?
No, I tend to agree with you. I think the impact will be minimal. And Republicans saw what a disaster it was to be sort of pro-Putin in the first 72 hours of this, and they've already abandoned that. Now they're sort of pretending to be pro-Ukraine. So no, I don't think it'll hurt them much in the end.
Okay. Well, yeah, thank you. That was it. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the call. Guys, we have opened the phone lines because we got to 100 members on the last day of February. I want to say thank you to Jose Hermosillo, who just signed up on my website and is new member 116. It is really a stunning, stunning day. Let's go next. By the way, just a reminder, anybody putting a parentheses in Discord to get to the top of the list, I will not call on you. That's a way to not be in alphabetical order. I don't go top to bottom, so you're just annoying me when you do the parentheses, and you won't get called on, just as an FYI. Let's go next to Graham from Indiana. Graham, go. Graham from Indiana, please unmute. You are on the air. Last chance for Graham from Indiana. All right. That's too bad. Let's go. How about Jonathan from Chicago?
Hey, David, can you hear me?
I can hear you fine.
Great. So I just wanted to ask from your perspective of Russian politics. I understand that it's not necessarily good to wish the demise of any individual, but let's say hypothetically, if Putin were to be assassinated, right, what implications do you think that would have within Russia?
You know, given the Russian public's opposition to this invasion, there are many times where we say, you kill the number one Taliban guy, and the number two Taliban guy becomes the number one Taliban guy. Everybody's just as radicalized and nothing really changes. And I think that often that assessment is correct. In this particular case, I believe that there is significant opposition to Putin, even within the ranks, from people who are in line, but they don't really like it and they don't feel that they can speak out. They know the Russian people are against what Putin is doing. And I think if Putin were to be assassinated, I think it would actually dramatically change how Russia would relate to the rest of the world. Now, I don't think Putin is going to be assassinated. I'm not advocating for a state assassination of Putin, but I would bet by my bottom dollar that the idea of, what about an assassination has 100% been discussed by some Western countries. When Western leaders say, give me all the options, I am sure someone has said, and if we were to think about an assassination, here's how we would look at doing it. I'm not saying it would succeed, but there is no way it hasn't been discussed. And I don't think it's a good idea politically. I'm not advocating for it. I'm not calling for it. But an assassination of Putin would have different repercussions than like when we assassinate the number one or two Taliban or ISIS leader, for sure.
Thanks for answering my question, man. Big fan. Keep doing what you do.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate the call. There's Jonathan from Chicago with a very, very specific and on-point question. Thanks to Gummy Dav for the Twitch Prime subscription, you're number 117. Also, thanks to Riley Benner for signing up on my website with the coupon code OBAMNA. Today only, you can use the coupon code No Putin, No February, all one word, all lowercase, to get an insanely discounted membership. And we are also taking calls quite literally right now. Let's go next to, by the way, I know I don't have to say this with you guys because you guys all have the right phone etiquette. If it takes you 2 minutes to get to your question or a question hasn't been asked in 2 minutes, I start to wonder whether any question is coming. So let's do questions. Let's go to Surya from New Jersey. Surya, you're on the air.
Hey, David, I just had a question on I'm not sure if you covered this on your show, but this has to do with the it's kind of been swept under the rug, but the U.S. bombing Somalia and also the UAE and Saudi Arabia bombing Yemen right now at the same time as this invasion. So I was wondering what your thoughts were on that.
I'll be totally honest. I have not been following it. I've been so busy with The Daily Show and the Ukrainian invasion. I don't want to blow smoke anywhere on you, no matter where. I know no part of you, in or out. I just am not up to speed enough to intelligently comment.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
All right, there's Surya from New Jersey. Guys, if I don't know, I'm not going to talk about it, I don't feel it necessary to always have a take on everything. I just have not been following it enough to say. Let's go to Matt from Yorkshire. Matt, you are on the air.
Evening, David. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Must it be like, well, is it midnight there in Yorkshire?
10 to 11 at night, not far from turning into bed. I just figured I'd have a nosy at the stream, and quite interesting to see what's going on in the world from your perspective.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I appreciate what you do. My question actually follows on from the fellow a couple of calls ago, where you were saying there's quite significant opposition with the people in Russia to Putin's stance, and a lot of people seem to be against him. I'm curious to what you think about whether, if we ever get to that hellscape situation where if Putin does give the order to press the big red button and launch nukes, is it in the realms of possibility that his top generals turn around and go, no?
I've thought about this, right? The idea would be, let's say Putin says, launch the nukes. Do his top generals band together and just say, hell no? I think it's just mere speculation. It's meaningless speculation. Maybe. I just don't think we have enough intelligence to definitively say what the mood is of those top generals who would be in a position to say no. I just have no idea. It would be idle speculation, one way or the other.
Yeah. I mean, the only real vision we've seen of any of them so far have been at those announcements that he's posted up, and I mean, facial cues from them. They look worried, but
they look worried, yeah. And in some of the pictures, they're sitting 40 feet away from him at a table, so it's hard to even see their expressions.
Yeah. It's sheer madness at this point.
It's madness. It's madness.
Yeah. That's all I wanted to come for. Keep doing what you're doing, mate. It's cracking work.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
No worries. Have a good one.
All right, you too. There is Matt from Yorkshire in the United Kingdom. What a caller. What a caller. I want to say a huge thank you to Weldon Perry, as well as Christian Foyer, who have just done the impossible, and they have gotten memberships on my website and are new members 119 and 120. Let's go next. We're taking calls, and it is wild. Let's go to Ellie from Seattle. Ellie, you are on the air.
Hey, David, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you beautifully.
Thanks. Big fan. Thanks for taking my call.
Pleasure.
My question is, with everything going on, the Ukraine and Russia, and then everything, locally, like Florida and the Don't Say Gay, and what's going on in Texas with the trans kids, all of this stuff, so I'm a mental health therapist, and I always wonder, how do people deal with, like, the information overwhelm, like the 24-hour news cycle? Like, how do you find a way to disconnect and not let it, like, rule your life 24/7?
So basically a couple different things. One, it's good to have a healthy understanding of, like, what's in your circle of control, what's completely outside your circle of control, and where can you, like, sort of have an impact, but not completely. This is, like, very, very basic kind of, like, stoic type stuff. And so first of all, it's like, if you want to be informed, it's important to know, when you're consuming a news story, is this something I can even do anything about or not? And to kind of have a healthy understanding of that. Number two, it's really good to have scheduled time away from this stuff. When I'm done with my Friday show, unless we have, like, a specific weekend event, like this past weekend, I had the Trump CPAC speech on Saturday, but I basically tune out of politics completely. And very often people will ask me, did you hear about this or that? And it's like, no, until I start preparing the Monday show, I really have no idea. So it's good to just take time off as well from it. Those are the two things I would say everybody should do.
Awesome. Thank you.
How's Seattle, by the way?
Rainy.
Rainy. Yeah. Gotcha. All right. Well, thank you, Ellie. Appreciate the call.
Thanks, David.
All right. Ellie from Seattle. Very, very important question. Why don't we try Noah from California next? Noah, Go.
Hey, David. I know you're a big coffee guy. I was wondering, do you take your coffee black?
I don't really drink drip coffee, and so black is a term that applies mostly to drip coffee. I am really in the espresso universe, so it's not a relevant question to my coffee preferences, I would say.
Oh, wow. Very powerful. Well, thank you.
Appreciate it. Glad I was able to clarify that. Really, the issues of paramount importance, as you can imagine today. Why don't we go to, let's go to Tony Lasagna. Tony Lasagna, you're on the air.
Oh, hi, David. Been watching your show for a couple of years. I honestly didn't think I'd get called. I was trying to change my username.
Oh, all right. Well, here we are. We find ourselves here together.
We do. So I want to make my question brief. I was having a discussion a couple days ago with a friend about the whole Ukraine situation, and he was basically saying that the fact that basically, Russia could attack with nuclear weapons at any time is sort of something that Putin is holding over NATO and the other allies. And I was saying that, and he's like, oh, why couldn't NATO attack? And I was saying, well, because then Putin would use nuclear weapons. And then he replied, well, basically that's sort of an upper hand that Putin has. How do you know that Putin's going to attack with nuclear weapons? And so I guess I kind of thought about it. And I understand like the whole, geopolitical thing of attacking a nuclear powered nation. But if you like, what would be the definitive reason for why NATO would not get involved in sort of like a direct conflict with Russia?
I think that with all these things, it comes down to, it's a similar thing to when the initial sanctions were announced and a lot of people were saying, well, why aren't they doing more sanctions? Here's a list of more stuff that can be done. If you do everything right away, even if it would be the most effective way to completely quash an invasion, you take away the possibility of doing things in the future. And so when there were the initial sanctions after the invasion of the Donetsk and Luhansk, people were saying, well, why not do more sanctions on individuals? And then it was like, well, it makes sense to wait to see if they go to Kyiv. Then they went to Kyiv and then they did more sanctions. And it was like, well, why aren't they doing SWIFT? And then now they've done SWIFT. And so, I mean, I think obviously, unless we're in the room, we don't know what the conversations are, but you want to keep tools. You don't want to use all your tools right away. You need to keep some bullets for later, so to speak, to use an analogy. And I think that that's generally the principle that's at play here in terms of why has more not already been done?
Okay, that actually makes sense. I haven't really thought about it.
Now, unfortunately, in so doing, people do die, right? Like more people will die in Ukraine because of the use of that principle. There's no way to deny that, but it's a commonly used principle when thinking about responses. Tony?
Yeah.
Okay.
Would you mind if I ask a quick follow-up question?
Oh, by all means.
Okay. So in that case, would you say that direct military action would never be on the table, or
by U.S. troops or by NATO forces? By U.S. troops or by NATO forces?
NATO forces.
Okay, no, I think it is on the table. I mean, I've not heard anyone rule it out definitively. Have you?
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
But that would only be a direct attack on a NATO ally, right? Not involved.
Probably.
In Ukraine, right?
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, David. I'm really glad to talk to you.
All right, thanks. Appreciate it. There's Tony Lasagna. To everybody sending me direct messages on Discord, it's not going to get you on. Just so you know, there's a process. It's a very specific and professional process to get on. Let's go next. Oh, hold on. I want to thank a couple other people. Thanks to Relly475 for the Twitch Prime subscription. Thanks to Matthew Gorgica, who is new member 122. Today only, for the next 6 hours, we have a 75% off coupon code on my website. The code is no Putin. Is that Anderson Cooper in the bottom right? What is that? No Putin, no February. And it saves you 75%. It's the last day of the month. It ends at midnight, and we are taking calls right now. Let's go next to, let's go to Bethany from Oklahoma. Bethany, you're on the air.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can. Bethany, we've spoken before, right?
Yes, yeah. This is maybe the third time or something like that.
Let me see what I can remember. I love doing this. Bethany from Oklahoma, you have multiple kids, right?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
A 3-year-old and a 7-year-old.
I don't remember anything else other than that, but it's great to have you back.
We talked about bagels one time.
Oh, that's right. Oh, I
do
asked you if we
remember
could get good bagels in Oklahoma, and you said not really, right?
that. Well, I mean, not probably what you're used to.
Okay, fair,
We do
fair.
have a place called Old School Bagel Cafe. It's really
Right,
good, but
Old
it's a
School
chain.
Bagel
It's a
Cafe.
chain,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the big thing now, I don't want to get off track, but I'm sure you're familiar with an everything bagel, right?
Oh, the everything bagel. Yes, I'm familiar with it.
The new thing that I'm loving is an everywhere bagel, which is an everything bagel, but they put the things on all sides of it. So because the bottom of the bagel often has no seeds and other elements, flavor elements.
Yeah.
The everywhere is an everything bagel with the stuff all around it. It's fantastic.
I have not heard of that.
It's pretty good.
When I go there, I like to get I think it's called called the French toast bagel or something like that. It's very sweet and cinnamony, and I get my breakfast bagels with it.
Bethany, I am so against that, but I don't want to let it ruin this call. So let's move on to something else.
Forget I said it. Okay, so I guess my main question was, well, I have a friend, and he actually worked for a little while in USAID. It's like the United States assistance.
USAID.
Yes, that's it.
Fair. Yep.
And he worked there for a few years working with humanitarian aid for Russia. And so I got his opinion on everything that's going on. And he essentially kind of said that he doesn't think we should have ever even promised that we would, he doesn't think we should have let Ukraine join NATO at all, because we can't keep our promise. And so the thought experiment that he gave me was, he said, if what would America do if Russia had gotten Canada or had gotten Mexico to join the Warsaw Pact? And he was like, he was kind of provoking, like, that's the thought experiment. He was like, would we not do anything in response to that? And so I felt like, what I said back to him is, well, if they had done that years and years later and it was still around, maybe it'd be a different story. But do you think there's any merit to, we just shouldn't have had it on the table at all for Ukraine to join NATO because of our inability to really want to go and defend it ourselves?
No, I don't. That doesn't sound like a very good argument. I mean, listen, if you believe that Ukraine is a sovereign country that can make its own decisions, Ukraine has every right to. And just so Bethany, we're on the same page that Ukraine isn't part of NATO. I don't want to just assume that you know that, but I'm guessing you do. You do. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
If Ukraine wants to join NATO, Ukraine could decide whether to join NATO if NATO wanted to have Ukraine join. NATO, why would NATO preemptively say Ukraine can never join? I mean, it's just not there's no reason for that. Now, we can accept that if you are Russia, you can reasonably perceive an expansion of NATO as something that's encroaching on you. I don't deny that at all. Okay, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't give you the right to go and invade Ukraine.
See, that's essentially where I fell. What he said, I kind of felt like it seemed like that's walking on eggshells around a dictator, to just go out of our way to not want to do the littlest thing to provoke him. I mean, that's kind of how I felt about it. But I mean, it was an interesting, thinking if Russia had done that with one of our close allies, well, not allies, but bordering neighbors.
Sure.
But I'm on the same page as you. I don't think we should have said, no, you can't join either.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people will say, hey, all you Americans supporting Ukraine, if Russia suddenly put a base right over the U.S.-Mexico border, you would consider it aggression. And it's like, yes, that's true. But that wouldn't just happen, and the circumstances are totally different, and the backstory would be completely it's not really analogous.
Exactly. And that's what I said to him is I said, if Russia did that, if they, did a parallel type thing, it would probably be, if it's a parallel type situation, it would be in response to us probably being aggressive first, because I mean, Russia is the aggressor in this, and that's why Ukraine is, seeking obviously more security. So I just want to get your thought on that. But
yeah, no, it sounds like you and I are more or less on the same page on that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I have a couple random questions too that I've just been meaning to ask, and I always forget.
Sure.
When do you take calls like throughout the week? Because on your, daily shows every Friday,
right?
It seems like you're taking new calls, and I just like every once in a while I randomly hop in during that time. But is there like a scheduled time?
We pre-record those. Wednesday at 12:15 Eastern. Wednesday 12:15 Eastern. Yeah.
Gotcha. I was wondering when you pre-recorded those. Wednesday 12:15 Eastern. Okie dokie. And then one last question. I'm a member now, so I have been for a while.
Thank you.
And I've realized, because I came across one of your videos on Facebook the other day, and so I was just, watching like a short segment on there. And then I realized, you started to go into one of your promos, and I miss the cool things that you promote and that you give discounts for. Like, I want to.
You're missing the ads. Bethany, I don't think we've ever had a phone call like this. You miss the ads. That's right.
Is there a place on your website where you put like these promo codes and stuff? So I'm like, not, because you suggest cool stuff usually, and more so than most people.
We do have a sponsors page under About on the website, and we try to keep it updated.
Okay.
We try to keep it updated. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. It's good to know. I'll have to check that out, because I was like, I don't really want to go watch the just generic ones just for that reason. I do like watching the member exclusive channels.
Of course.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking my call.
Bethany, it's been a pleasure. Bethany from Oklahoma, French toast bagels. That's a real question mark, but otherwise a beautiful, beautiful phone call. Let's see who else we can talk to. By the way, thanks to Bobo Fetra, as well as Micro Kimmy, Birch Lore Rangers gifted 5 subs via Twitch. That's a total of 7, putting us at 129. And then the things happening on the website nobody's ever seen before. Michael Casolino just signed up. Ophir Almag just signed up. Seems like a Turkish name. Omar Nunez just signed up. 3 new members, putting us at 132. Oh, and also Anthony Martinez, putting us at 133. What a day. Folks, the phone lines are explosive. Let's speak next to, I don't know. What looks interesting? Where's a place we've not spoken to anyone from? Maybe ever. Oh, hold on. Here's a caller from India, the country. We've had callers from Bangladesh, but I don't think from India. Caller from India, I can't see your name because it's just off the screen. What was your name?
Hi, David. This is Srinjoy from Bengal in India.
Srinjoy, is that the right pronunciation?
That is correct.
Wow, welcome. Thank you. Now, are you from one of the regions that is predominantly vegetarian? I'm not familiar.
No.
No, okay. It would be fine if you were. You acted almost like, no, God, no. No, I'm just curious.
No, we eat everything.
You eat everything. Okay, good. All right, please proceed.
So, if I may, I have one recommendation and one question.
Please.
Since you're watching a clip from WION News where the Ukrainian MP is carrying a gun in his car,
yes.
I want to turn your attention to a video from NDTV where another MP pulls out his Kalashnikov to counter a reporter from Sputnik TV in a debate.
Oh, wait, is that new?
Yeah, it's a few hours ago.
Oh, wow. Okay, I'm going to look that up, but just because it sounds edgy, so I'm not going to do it on the stream because I don't want to get, I don't want to have a problem anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. It is a news channel in India.
Beautiful.
And my question is that have you seen the racism that is occurring at the border of Ukraine, Poland, Ukraine, Hungary, and all those stuff against African and Indian students?
So listen, I don't know what the truth is yet about that because I've heard the allegations and I've heard denials. And I just don't know to what degree that's true. If it's happening, it's absolutely condemnable, but it's been denied. And I just don't know.
Denials. Yeah. So what happened? It started from the Polish officers. Okay. So first they were prioritizing the Ukrainian citizens to cross over and stopping Africans and Indians.
Okay.
Basically, Indian students who have gone there for medical stuff. Also Africans. Then what happened after that is since India abstained from the vote against Russia, the Ukrainian police also started being against the Indians.
Okay. Yeah, the allegations are very, I just want to be careful because there's so many different claims being made about that.
Yeah, so you might want to check that out.
I will, absolutely. Okay, I appreciate the call very much. I believe you're the first caller we've had from India, at least recently.
Oh, my pleasure.
Thank you so much. All right, there is Srinjoy from India. Thank you so much. Guys, that's such a perfect call that I think on that note, we're going to wrap. It's just, I don't know that we could really do any better than that. I appreciate everybody who joined me. It's been an incredible final day of February. Tomorrow, 8 East, 5 West, in the nighttime, obviously, State of the Union. State of the Union, we will be here. And guys, I don't know what else to say. It's just been an incredible stream. And I'll be back with you tomorrow. Thank you.